Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and Marseille with a massive win against Metz, a 3-1 win for the home side, and a giant step towards securing that Champions League place in the Liga. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. I mean, everybody knew what it was. Yeah, it was going to be an easy game. Everybody expected Marseille to win, and they ended up winning this game as well. It was a really good performance, but they really had to work hard, especially in that first half. I think they started the game really good. They were really good on the ball. The way that they took the game to Metz, early on, and I'll be very honest. I was really surprised with the way that Metz played. Sorry, like they really did not sit back. They had a go at Marseille. It was quite an open game that I really did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be that a typical game where Metz are going to sit back and they're going to defend and they're going to try to hit Marseille on the counter attack. But credit to Metz, they tried to play football. They came out, they created chances, a good number of chances, they put Marseille under a lot of pressure early on up until the goal was not scored. It was quite an open game, and I really thought Marseille might be in trouble for there was a couple of good chances from Metz, but then Aubameyang goes ahead and he scores that goal, and it sort of calms Marseille. To be very honest with you, we need to remember that they have not won in their last two games. They lost before the international break. They came back last weekend and they lost that game as well. So there was a bit of pressure. Those two defeats hurt their chances of qualification for the Champions League. So it was a big moment for them, especially Monaco losing before. So that gave gave them an advantage to leapfrog them if they had won this game, and they won that. They're now third in the league, even though Lyon and Lille are yet to play. But for Marseille at the moment, it was an important game, important moment. Aubameyang scores that goal, and as I said, it calms the nerves of the players, it calms the nerves of the fans as well. The stadium gets rocking, and then Metz get put under a lot of pressure, and then you start to see the difference. A small mistakes start to happen from Metz players, and Marseille continue to pump on the pressure. But until halftime, it stays 1-0. We go into the second, come back for the second half. Marseille score a quick goal, at the start of the second half. It becomes 2-0. Pixar scores that goal, and you're thinking game over, right? A minute later, Shitowali comes in and he scores that goal for Metz, and it's game on yet again, 2-1. And that is why I'm saying it was a really good game, because Metz really did not give up. A lot of the teams who are in that relegation battle, who are at the bottom of the table, who can literally see relegation in their at their faces, would have just backed down after 2-0. They would have been like, we can accept defeat, and we can accept defeat graciously, and we don't want to get humiliated, because there was a chance that they could have easily gotten humiliated with the way that Marseille was playing, and that's one thing that I'm going to talk about later. But I want to give credit to Metz. They came back, they fought, and they got that goal back, and then again they put a bit of pressure on Marseille, because that one goal lead is never safe, and it doesn't matter which team you are playing it or what position you are playing. One goal is never safe, right? And Metz, again, they defended really well, because Marseille kept on putting pressure on them. They kept on bringing player. I think Mason Greenwood had a couple of good chances. He brought out great saves from the goalkeeper, who kept Metz in the game as long as he could. And to be very honest with you, he had a really good game. But as I said, Marseille, I think their shooting boots were missing tonight, because they were really poor in front of the goal. I mean, thinking the process right before taking the shot, the final ball, at the final pass, it was not there, and the final shot, it was always missing. The amount of times they rocketed the balls, I mean, it felt like they were playing golf more instead of football, because all of them were trying to hit the ball as far as possible into the sky. It was such a poor finishing from the Marseille players, and I'm gonna count all everybody in that, because all of them missed so many of chances. Otherwise, this game could have easily been 4 or 5-1 for Marseille, and it would have been easy night. But they made it hard for themselves, if I'm being very honest with you, missing those so many chances, and that kept Metz into the game. And they created, Metz, if Marseille would have like 5 to 6, 7 minutes of domination, and then Metz would have a couple of minutes where they would go on a counter attack, or they would have a bit of possession, and they would create chance, and they would be been knocking at Marseille's door, just reminding them that we're still here. There's a chance that we might equalize. Luckily for Marseille, it did not have, and it did not materialize, and in the end, Traore scores that goal to make it a 3-1, and that calms everybody up. And then Marseille breathe a sigh of relief. They get those 3 points, 3 important points. we are right at the end of the season, just 5 games remaining after this, so every single point matters, and those 3 points are huge in context of those Champions League places, especially as I said before. Monaco got thrashed by Paris, nobody saw that coming, so that result really and combining with this result has helped Marseille. Now they are in third. Even if Lyon end up winning their game, they are still going to be in that fourth, they are still going to be in those Champions League places, so every single game, every single point is going to matter. And for Marseille, as I said before, it was a huge win, and those 3 points are very important because they want to stay in the Champions League. That's the main place that they want to be. That's how they can attract other players. If they really want to go ahead and want to challenge for the title, which they have not been able to do. They came quite close last year, and then they sort of trailed back. This year has been a disaster for numerous reasons. But if they want to, as I said, attract big players that can go head to head with PSG for the title, they need to stay in the Champions League, because big players are not going to come if you're not playing in the Champions League. And that is why it was important for Marseille to capitalize on Monaco slipping up and getting these 3 points. Metz, on the other hand, I mean, they would be really sad that they were not really able to get anything out of this game. I mean, if you're a Metz fan, you would be really disappointed, and I, as a neutral, I feel sad for them as well, because I said they played really good football. It was a really good game, because again, Metz really did not sit back. They had a go at Marseille, and they know they need to win their games as well. They are looking like they are going to go straight back down. It's an unfortunate thing. It's a part of football that happens, but it's not easy. And again, it's another 3 points lose. They are winless in their last 7 games. A 4th defeat in their last 5 games as well. So it's not a happy reading if you're a Metz fan. But it is what it is. They tried really hard. You cannot fault their effort. They really took their chances. They put Metz under Marseille under a lot of pressure. But again, it is one of those days where things don't go your favor. Even though Marseille missed so many chances, when that was happening, when Marseille were missing so many chances, I really thought maybe Metz are going to sneak a point from here. And they're going to get something out of this game. But unfortunately for Metz, it did not happen, and they've lost yet another game. And they are still, they are at the bottom of the table, and they're still stuck there. And unfortunately, with just 5 games to go, I think it is getting harder and harder for them to escape. The gap is between them and teams above them is getting bigger and bigger. And I unfortunately, as unfortunate it is to say, I really think it's done for Metz. If I'm being very honest with you, I just don't see a way back from them. I think they are gone. And I think again, this night could be one of those nights where they can look back and they say, okay, this is one of those nights we decided that Metz are going to get relegated. So an unfortunate night for Metz. A great performance, but not a great result. Marseille, not that much of a great performance, but an amazing result, especially a great night considering what happened in the Monaco game. So yeah, that's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Marseille's performance. Do you think they have what it takes to stay in those Champions League places and qualify for the Champions League next year, or do you think they are gonna have setbacks from there until the next of the season? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the season, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.